Okay, hi. So, after finishing my wicked top wearable, whatever you want to call it, I haven't come up with a good name. If you guys have a good name suggestion, let me know. I will listen, and if I like it, I will definitely give credit where credit is due. But I haven't really had any time to truly record, but I also wasn't really sure exactly what I was going to work on next. I feel like I remember hinting at something in my last video, but I don't remember what that was. And I'll just go back and watch it after this. But I know that I had mentioned that I was going to do a yarn review of the Loops and Threads Silky Soft. And I have a few different ones that I can show you. I can show you how the variegated one even works up a little bit. I'll tell you my exact pattern that I've used for it and everything, but I really like this yarn. It's been very good. It's been really easy to work with. It does have a little splitting issues here and there, but that's because it's like very distinct individual strands and they don't hold on together to each other super well. So it's to be expected. I think the hardest part is probably tying the yarns together when you're changing the yarn or changing a color or having to add onto one that you're finishing off, basically. So they have normal, plain colors. This is a yellow that I picked up because I love this yarn and I am going to keep making stuff with it. And then this is a variegated, so you can see all the different colors in it. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. I don't have the purple one worked up, but I do have the pinkish red one worked up. And this is what it looks like. Crochet hook. um, so currently, this is how it's working up. I think this is a very pretty pattern. I think that you could probably do this with planned pooling if you are good at that stuff. I am not. I'm doing rows of, so I did 2 single crochet rows and then a row of double crochet. And then 2 single crochets, double, 2, double. So you can tell it's a pattern for sure. And that might have something to do with why the colors are showing up the way they are, but I think it's very cute. And I'm excited to keep doing this. I'm not actually sure what this is going to truly turn into. I started with a pattern, but then I decided I was going to do it differently. So it's not really the pattern that I was doing in the first place, but we'll get there when we get there, you know? It's not a big deal. And then, of course, I can show you the sweater again if I need to, which, why not? But that means I have to put my down. Now, ignore my nails. I know that I need to repaint them. It's fine. So I love the stitch definition on these projects. Obviously, neither of these have been washed yet. I still need to finish weaving in the ends a little bit on my top, but I've been doing it a little bit here and there while watching stuff. But before I made the top, I had started out, and this is in one of my videos where I frogged 80 rows, because I had started out with a specific alternating pattern where I was doing double crochet, half double crochet over and over again. And it didn't work out for the image. like I wanted, and it was going to be way too long, and so I had to switch to just half double crochet, which is fine, and it worked out, but I had to redo the whole entire front panel. And before doing that, I had to see if it was possible to salvage it without having to frog. So I crocheted a little section where I was alternating half double crochet and double crochets, and then I washed it and dried it to see if I could shrink it. It does not shrink. It maybe shrinks like a smidge, like half an inch maybe, but probably not even that. Maybe a quarter of an inch. But this is what it looks like after being washed. I don't know if I can get the camera to work, but you can still see the stitches. You can see the colors. They're not dull. That's better right there is good. But, oh my gosh. So you can still see everything that you would want to see, which is why I don't feel like I'm going to have a problem washing this. I'm probably not going to throw it into the dryer. I'll probably just wash it in the washer on a delicate cycle with a garment bag, like in a garment bag. It's not going to be near the agitator on its own. And then I'll just lay it out to dry. Because I think those are the washing instructions anyway. But I was able to dry that. So if you needed information on anything like that, you can dry this yarn. At least I could. And I would assume anyone can because my dryer is not anything special. It's just your typical old dryer that's a front loader and is very heavy duty. So if you need to wash it and dry it, you can. It works up really well. It does a great job with single crochets, double crochets, half double crochets. They all look good. It's very soft. It's a very thin yarn. You can tell. There you go. See? Very thin. I'm pretty used to working with like chenille yarn, so it's very interesting that I worked with this recently. But it's not a big deal. It just means that your projects are going to probably take a little bit longer than you would normally plan for. It says to use a 4mm. I have been using a 4.5, so just use whatever works for your heart, I guess. I crochet really tightly. My tension is crazy. I don't know why, and I haven't tried to fix it, so that's a problem for another day. I do remember I tried to make some granny squares for my sweater with this yarn, and those they didn't go over very well. So maybe other people would have success doing granny squares with Silky Soft, but not me. So I don't think I can recommend it for granny squares, but that doesn't mean you can't make them and that you wouldn't be able to. It just means that I wouldn't be able to. That's all. So this is the yarn. It's a little bit shiny when you're looking at it in the skein, but it's not really shiny when you've crocheted it up. So I'm not really sure what gives it that image. Yeah, I couldn't possibly tell you what it is. But if you look at my project I'm working on right now, it looks like a lot of yarn has been used. But the skein looks like I haven't even touched it. So a lot of yarn goes a long way. Each skein has, what is it, 100, oh no, not 100, 100 grams, yes. But they're 219 meters each. So they've got a good amount of distance on them. It's listed as a light 3 weight yarn. And the knitting needles that it wants you to use, I don't know anything about knitting, but this is the label. If you can see that? There we go, it focused. Good job. So it is rayon from bamboo, and there is another brand that is similar. It's called True Boo from Lion Brand. I've seen people talk about them interchangeably and use them interchangeably. What I will say is the loops and thread colors seem to be more vibrant. I did order 2 colors of True for my Wicked top, and I just wasn't exactly the biggest fan of the colors that they were. I tried to get a pink and a green just to see if they would work, and they were not the vibe. So take that with whatever grain of salt you want to. If you're interested in True, go ahead and try it. Obviously, like rayon from bamboo is great. I love this yarn. Silky Soft is great. Whatever the True one is great too, I'm sure, because it feels exactly the same, and the only difference is probably the colors. I think the QR code on Loops and Threads takes you to a pattern. I have not scanned it, and I don't know if I will, but here we are. So, what have we learned? It works up great. The variegateds look great in different stitch definitions. The yarn is washable and dryable, which is not always common for certain yarns like this. But yeah, it is dryable. I don't think it wants you to dry it though. Yeah, it says machine wash cold only, non-chlorine bleach, dry flat, do not iron. I broke the rules and I dried it. But that's why I did a little tiny piece. It also gets a lot softer. And I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I put it in the dryer or the fact that I just washed it in general. I'm gonna guess dryer. So I'm not worried about ruining the Wicked top, so maybe I will dry it. If I feel like it comes out of the washer and is like not comfy. But the yarn is soft anyway. It just got a little bit softer, I think, in the dryer. So that's really all that happened. But I definitely recommend Loops and Threads Silky Soft. I think it is a great yarn. I think it will work very well for summer wearables. My my Wicked sweater is actually like cool to the touch, which I can't say for my sweater. My sweater is fuzzy, it is warm, it is toasty, and the summer one is not those things. It is nice and cool and airy and flowy and light. My sweater is heavy, but I made it with chenille yarn, so I was already expecting that. And it lived up to its expectations. It was very warm. I just wish that our winter was colder because it was still in like the 80s when Wicked came out last year. And I had made it for the movie premiere, so I literally was wearing it when it was hot outside and I was dying. But it's fine. So, if you have any questions about this yarn, by all means ask. I have so many skeins of it and I'm going to be using it, so I'm sure that I will find other things I like about it or other things I don't like about it as we go on. But never ever be afraid to ask questions about the yarn in particular, especially on this video since this is a yarn review. And I am happy to answer the questions to the best of my ability. If it's something you want me to like test out, like some type of stitch or whatever, so that you can see what it looks like and how it works up and how like if it's bulky or not bulky or whatever, let me know. This yarn works up really thin. That's another thing that I think is really nice about it is it doesn't create a super thick fabric like a lot of things tend to do in crochet. So that's it. Okay, thanks, bye.